Developing news coming out today, June 19th, 2025. Take a look at the latest headlines with me. Coming out 33 minutes ago, Trump has decided that the U.S. will take action in the Israeli-Iranian conflict within the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to share with you the video footage, the articles, as we're hearing that Trump has said that he will make his decision on the U.S. and whether we will attack Iran within the next 14 days. Now, this comes as I let you know this morning that overnight, take a look, we had heard that Trump had approved an attack on Iran, but he had not made his final decision as to whether or not they would be attacking. You can see this had come out 18 hours ago. This had come out overnight. And now we're hearing that he is going to be extending the time frame, going to be giving a little bit more time to decide. He said he still wants to see if they can resolve this diplomatically. He wants to see if he can meet Iran at the negotiating table. Now, this comes while I am checking on the live feeds, and take a look. You can see Israel and Iran are trading strikes as Trump weighs the U.S. involvement in the conflict. We're going to be seeing if the United States is going to be attacking Iran. Now, as that unfolds, we are hearing that Iran is threatening the United States still. Take a look. 36 minutes ago, Iran-backed Shiite militia in Iraq vows to attack U.S. regional bases if Trump decides to enter the conflict. So the threats, the warnings going back and forth. Iran is saying that they will attack the United States, and there are concerns about attacking military bases and sleeper cells in the United States, initiating and attacking here on U.S. soil. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you concerned of this? Now, I shared this with you a couple days ago as the warnings started coming out, but now we're hearing again today more warnings coming out about sleeper cells in the United States. And Donald Trump is saying that he's going to give it 14 more days to decide what direction we're going to be going, the United States, in the war with Israel and Iran. So I'm going to dive into the latest video footage. I'm going to dive into these articles so you can see it for yourself. Put it on the screen, read right from it. As you guys know, here on the channel, I cite all the sources. They are hyperlinked in the description. Try to hold myself to the highest level of accountability so you can see the dates, see the sources. You can know and rest assured that this is the latest information. So let's get you caught up. Right now, it is June 19th, 2025, 4:45 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Houston, Texas, and I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. And if you appreciate that, do me a favor, hit that like button. That simple gesture helps spread this out further across the YouTube platform. Hit subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at some video footage coming out in just the past couple hours or so to get you caught up on exactly what is going on with the conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president. And I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno.
There you have it, you guys. So that was the direct quote from the president today. And also, let's take a look at some of the warnings that are coming out as well. Let's take a look at this video footage.
We are told that Israel needs a 15-ton bunker buster bomb to destroy Totally Fordow. But only America has those bombs. Retired four-star General Jack Keane joins me. General, welcome back. Always good to have you on the show. My question is there any alternative to B-2s and bunker busters if you really want to knock out Fordow completely? Any alternative?
Yes, certainly. There are alternatives. They're just not as good. I mean, Israel can certainly conduct a ground raid, secure the facility and then blow it up and try to get out of there without taking a lot of casualties. There's a lot of risk associated with that. They successfully, back in 2020, took down the power grid that supports Natanz, and a lot of the centrifuges as a result of that were destroyed. Because the centrifuges got to keep spinning. You could also take down the ventilation system and deny that, obviously, ventilation to people working there. So there are alternatives, but none of them are quite as good as an airstrike with a bomb that has the capability to deal with the deepness of this target 300 feet into the ground is quite formidable in trying to penetrate and achieve destruction. So it is the preferred option, but obviously, as you asked, there are other options. It's just more risk associated with those other options.
Sure. Other than missiles, does Iran have anything to retaliate against us with?
Well, their air force is completely destroyed. And their air power infrastructure to support it, with fuel, munitions, and the things that define air power, besides airplanes, they have a very small navy, some frigates, some patrol boats. They're capable of mining the Straits of Hormuz. If we didn't take out that capability, or the Israelis take it out, they're pretty much reduced to missiles in terms of some form of retaliation. But believe me, if they're going to walk down that path, given the weakened position that they are in right now, Stuart, they know full well that the United States' response to something like that will be quite massive. And I think they recognize that their regime's survivability would truly be at risk if they take on the United States as a result of our conducting this limited strike, which is kind of a one-off strike. This is Israeli operation. They have led it for the last 6-7 days, and we would be supporting them with a significant capability, to be sure. I don't want to minimize it, but it is one airstrike at that target. We're not part of the major campaign that Israel is conducting here. And if Iran reacts to that, significantly trying to take down U.S. troops at our bases, our response will be quite consequential, and I would assume that they're very much aware of that. And they are in such a weakened position now, Stuart. I mean, the military leadership, as you know, is decapitated. So is the nuclear leadership. Airplanes have been flying over all the major cities and over Iran, the capital in Tehran, 5 days, 6 days, days and nights. I mean, the psychological and emotional impact of that is significant. The civilian leadership in its entirety is in hiding. Yeah. They're in bunkers. So I don't expect them to do much in terms of major retaliation, because I think they know the risk to them personally and the risk to their being able to survive would really be at stake as a regime.
About an hour from now, around about 11:30 Eastern this morning, President Trump is going to the Situation Room for an intel briefing. That suggests that action is imminent. What do you think?
Well, I think, where we are, the president's pretty much disclosed it. I mean, he's been involved in briefings now for the last 4 days or so, and this is likely an update. But, I think, he's had the plan. He understands the options. He's expressed, what he favors. I think the executors are well aware of that. I think one of the things that's taken place here is to make certain that all of our assets are in the region, one, to protect the troops at our bases, but just as significant, to have the assets there, the offensive assets, not just the defensive assets, to conduct a counterstrike against Iran if they take on U.S. troops at our bases. So that is taking a little bit longer to get those assets into the region, as you've been reporting on, and so have others. And I think that's one of the reasons why this action hasn't taken place. We want to make certain that we're ready for all the options in front of us.
General Jack Keane, you know what you're talking about. That's why you're on the show. Great to have you, sir.
There you have it, and let me know your thoughts. Should the United States strike Iran, or do you think that this pause is good? I see a lot of people in the comments putting 2 more weeks of confusion. What do you think? I feel like Donald Trump, and let me know if you agree or not, is really trying hard not to attack Iran, trying to see if there's any way to do this diplomatically, asking them, please, unconditional surrender, just put an end to this. Israel is absolutely decimating Iran at this time, and the United States is saying we don't want to use this bunker buster to wipe you out. Do you think that Donald Trump is just delaying the inevitable? Do you think that the United States should attack Iran? If you think so, put yes. If you think no, put no. Let me know your thoughts. Donald Trump trying to delay this, not attack them, giving them more time to see if we can come to some sort of diplomatic solution. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Correspondent Trey Yanks, live on the ground in Tel Aviv. Hi, Trey.
Martha, good afternoon. Early this morning, Iran launched yet another barrage of ballistic missiles into Israel, targeting both residential areas and a hospital. Here's what it looked like when we arrived at that medical facility. Black smoke billows from the Soroka Hospital in southern Israel. An Iranian missile hit the campus this morning just after 7 a.m., sending shockwaves through the halls. Suddenly, we heard the explosion, Juma Abu Kush says. We knew it's very close to us. Debris fell from the ceiling. Throughout the day, patients were evacuated to nearby hospitals as others were discharged if their condition warranted. First responders surveyed the damage as political leaders came by to voice their opposition to the bombing.
The Ayatollah regime targeted this morning is a hospital with helpless, sick people. This is an extreme war crime, and they will bear the consequences.
What's also important to note is that this is a place that there are both Israelis and Palestinians coming for care. There are Bedouins. When you walk around the compound of this hospital, there are still people in other areas. There are men wearing kippahs and women wearing hijabs. And it's an example of how this part of Israel lives, how they live side by side, and how there is a future. Martha, one piece of good news. Fox News has just learned that a baby was born at the Soroka Medical Center this afternoon following that ballistic missile attack. The baby is said to be healthy. Back to you.
That is hopeful. Thank you very much, Trey. Trey Yanks in Tel Aviv.
Hey.
There you have it, guys. So, man, that is going on right now. We're hearing that there are still strikes and attacks that are going on. This comes as, you guys, I mentioned to you, I am watching the live tracker, keeping you up to speed on everything. As you can see here, Israel and Iran trade strikes. As Trump weighs the U.S.'s involvement in the conflict, there have been updates coming in. 7 minutes ago, Israel issues evacuation warnings for parts of northern Iranian villages. So Israel is saying more strikes are on the way. The Israeli military issued an evacuation warning for people in the industrial area of Kalash Telshan village in northern Iran. It warned that it would launch attacks against what it described as military infrastructure. Your presence in the area puts your life at risk, the military said. 7 minutes ago, Australia suspends operations as its embassy in Tehran and tells officials to leave. Australia has suspended operations at its embassy in Tehran and told its officials and their dependents to leave Iran amid the deteriorating security situation. In a statement on Friday, Australian Foreign Ministry Penny Wong said that the country's ambassador to Iran would stay in the region to help with Australia's response to the Iran-Israeli conflict. Wow. So there you have it, you guys. Now, 48 minutes ago, Iran-backed Shiite militia in Iraq vowed to attack U.S. regional bases if Trump decides to enter the conflict. And again, we've been hearing the warnings of potential attacks coming against the United States from Iran if they become involved. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this article that came out from BBC. Now, this came out 33 minutes ago from the time of this recording, and it says Trump to decide on U.S. action in Israel-Iran conflict within the next 2 weeks. Now, this article says U.S. President Donald Trump will decide whether or not the U.S. gets directly involved in the Iran-Israeli conflict within the next 2 weeks, the White House had said. And again, should we get involved? Should we hit Iran? If you think so, put yes. If you think no, put no. And if you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, take a second, hit that like button. Now, in a White House press briefing, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt delivered a message directly from the President, Donald Trump. Based on the facts that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. Earlier, Iran's deputy foreign minister told the BBC that it would cause hell in the region if the U.S. got involved, adding, "This is not America's war." The news comes 24 hours after Trump said that he had not made up his mind on joining the conflict. Asked what the message was for everyday Trump supporters who have concerns about U.S. involvement, Leavitt said to trust in President Trump. She added that the president's top priority is ensuring that Iran does not successfully construct a nuclear weapon. The press secretary has so far repeatedly declined to discuss hypotheticals, including on whether Iranian officials could come to the White House or whether Trump would seek approval from Congress over any U.S. involvement. Trump and his administration have sought to maintain an air of strategic ambiguity, not revealing much publicly about their thinking or potential courses of action. "I may do it," he told reporters on Wednesday. "I may not do it." The administration has maintained it believes that Iran has never been closer to successfully building a nuclear weapon. Trump has dismissed intelligence assessments, including some given by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in Congress earlier this week, that Iran was not planning to do so. Speculation mounted about Trump's intentions on Wednesday after Iran's supreme leader rejected his demand for surrender. The BBC's U.S. partner, CBS, reported that Trump had approved plans to attack Iran, but had not made a final decision on whether to go ahead. And again, we heard that overnight that he had made that decision, approved for the attack plans, but had not yet given the green light to move forward. The U.S. president was holding off in case Iran agreed to abandon its nuclear program, an intelligence source said. On Thursday, Trump responded on Truth Social saying to the Wall Street Journal, where the reports first appeared, "had no idea what my thoughts are concerning Iran." He did not address whether plans had been approved. Now, the president is reportedly considering strikes on the Iranian nuclear site Fordow, a subterranean uranium enrichment facility. Iran insists Fordow is used for civilian purposes only. The site's location, hidden away in a mountainside, puts it out of the reach of Israel's weaponry. Only the U.S. is considered to have a bomb that might be large enough to destroy Fordow, and that is why Israel is saying the U.S. must get involved, because in order for them to completely wipe out any potential nuclear uranium enrichment, they must use those bunker busters to destroy Fordow. Diplomatic efforts are underway as the conflict continues, with European foreign ministers set to meet their Iranian counterparts in Switzerland on Friday. Leavitt said that correspondence between American negotiators and the Iranians was continuing. Reuters earlier reported that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi had spoken on the phone several times since Israel began its strikes on Iran last week in a bid to find a diplomatic end to the crisis. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Saeed Khatibzadeh told the BBC that he was hoping for diplomacy as a first option, but that while bombardment continues, we cannot start any negotiations. He said U.S. involvement would be hell for the whole region, that would turn the conflict into a quagmire, continue aggression, and delay an end to the brutal autocracies. Now, this is not America's war, and if Trump does get involved, he will always be remembered as a president who entered a war he doesn't belong in, he added. Now, Trump's 2-week deadline came after a hospital in southern Israel was hit during an Iranian missile attack on Thursday morning. That is the video footage we literally just watched. Iranian state media reported that the strike targeted a military site next to the hospital and not the facility itself. Now, Israel's Ministry of Health said 71 people were wounded during the attack on the medical center. Israel said at least 24 people have lost their lives in the country since the start of the conflict. Iranian state media last updated its death toll on Sunday, June 15th, when it said 224 people had lost their lives. The human rights activist news agency, a Washington-based human rights organization that has long tracked Iran, has said 639 people have lost their lives in Iran since Friday of last week. Israel's military continues its strikes on Iran's nuclear infrastructure on Thursday, saying that it had struck an inactive nuclear reactor in Iraq in overnight raids, which also saw the uranium enrichment facility in Natanz targeted yet again. So, man, there you have it, you guys. We are hearing that Donald Trump is saying he is giving us 2 weeks. He's going to give Iran 2 weeks to decide what direction we would like to go. He's saying if you want to meet at the negotiating table, now is the time. You've got 14 days to decide what you want to do, and if nothing is done, well, then he's going to be deciding whether or not it is time to use those bunker busters for the United States to get directly involved in attacking Iran, eliminating the threat of a potential nuclear weapon. He said we cannot live in a world where Iran has these nuclear weapons, because Iran shouts death to Israel, death to the United States, calls Israel the little Satan, the United States the big Satan. And the concern is that if they have nuclear warheads, that they could use these on the United States and cause massive devastation. And even now, we're hearing the warnings of sleeper cells in the United States from Iran, from other nations that have made their way through our southern borders or even through the northern border, made their way here, and they are set up just waiting for the green light to cause attacks here on U.S. soil. So we will see. I will keep you guys up to date as more information comes out. But what we're hearing is that right now there's a little bit of additional gap, space of time in which we're going to see what unfolds here with the Middle East and the United States. Now, I will continue to keep you up to date regardless of what unfolds. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are we going to be going to war? If you think so, drop a 3. If you think no, put a 4. And if you haven't done so yet, take a second, hit that like button, and subscribe to stay up to date. I'll keep you up to speed on everything as it unfolds. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. God bless. And I'll catch you in the next one.